Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everybody around the world. Welcome back to another One Piece video featuring your boy, Doflamingo. Get ready for a very, very exciting deck profile featuring OP07, which is right around the corner. Next week, pre-releases, here we come, boys and girls. But overall, we will be diving into a list for OP07 Dofi that I think everyone's going to be excited for. This leader is coming back. He's getting a lot of new support here in the metagame. He's going to be pretty strong. Now, without further ado, let's dive into this list here, see what we got cooking up. Because you can build this deck in numerous different ways, different ratios, and all that sort of thing. So I'm not going to tell you this is the best way to do it, this is right, you're wrong, all of that. You're going to have to play with the different ratios for the deck and see what works out for you. This is what I've been cooking up. We're going to start off with 12 2K counters, be it 4 Trafalgar Law, which comes out in OP07. This is a very, very strong card for decks such as Boa and in Dofi here, because this is searchable with 7 Warlords of the Sea. You can kick this to the top of the field with your Dofi leader ability and all that sort of thing. But he is essentially a 2K counter in this deck. In Boa, he has a lot more value. But overall, we're running with 4 Law. We're playing around with 4 Crocodile. Same thing, brand new card in OP07. 7 Warlords of the Sea. This is a little bit more valuable in Boa. But again, 7 Warlords of the Sea, so you can actually kick this on field with Dofi ability as well if you need to. So another 4 copies of Crocodile, so that's 8 2K counters in itself there. And then you'd be running with the 4 Mihawks. Mihawk is just overall valuable. Allows you to cycle through your dead cards in your hand, trash 2, draw 2. Pretty solid choice overall. Now, there are some other 2Ks that you can add into the list if you don't want to run like Crocodile or like Law or whatever. You can run the Kaya. You know, you draw 2, trash 2. This is a very, very good card to cycle dead cards as well. So Kaya is usable in this list if you want to go that route. Now, with the 12 2Ks, I feel that's just how I like to play it. You can go down to 10 if you want to by taking out 2 Laws to add in other cards in this list if you want like more removal, like more Gravity Blades, or you want to go up like Boa, or you want to go up to Gecko Moria. Feel free, but I do think between 10 and 12 2K counters is that sweet spot. Now, without further ado, we do keep the normal. We're running with 4 3-drop Doflamingos and then 4 1-drop Peronas. These 2 cards particularly will help you set up your plays, allow you to rearrange the top 5 cards of your deck. That way you can go ahead and gain access to them and kick something on field, which is really nice with your Dofi ability. Now, there are opportunities in the game in which you don't start off with Perona on your mulligan hand, on your opening hand, and it feels bad, right? This is what you need to start your engine. And you might start off with Doflamingo in hand on your first turn, and then coming back to you go the 3 Dawn, and you're swinging with 5, and you're playing this. So, I mean, sometimes that feels bad, but it's something you have to do to get the ball rolling. I understand it. It is a blocker, so it does have a plus side to it as well. But you have to have these guys to make sure that your engine is going to be working in the deck. There are opportunities where you can just blindly use your leader ability, and you might just kick off something here on field, but there'll be opportunities where you end up landing on a Perona or like a Kaido or a Pudding, and then it just feels really, really bad. So you're opening your mulligan hand, you're looking for Dofi, you're looking for Perona. These are 2 key pieces you need to make the deck work smoothly, I guess you would say. I've been playing around with 2 Boas and then 2 Gecko Morias. I like both of these cards. They're very, very good here in this list. The downside to it is if this is on top of the 5 cards of your deck, like, you know, you guys rearrange them, these come in rested, right? So this is a 6K, this is a 5. Boa has a on-play effect, like while she's on field. When she's attacking and or blocking, if she has 1 Dawn attached to her, you can draw 1 card if you have 5 cards or less in hand, which is really, really good. But ideally, she's not going to get that value a lot because they'll just remove her as quickly as they possibly can. Moria, of course, just a 6K vanilla. He does his thing, but they do come in board rested if you kick them from the top of your deck to the board. So, there's another way you can get around by playing some of your Warlord cards and not having to worry about that. And that is our brand new card that we got in OP07, which is Jinbe here. On play, you can add up to 1 cost 4 or lower 7 Warlords cards from your hand to the field, other than Jinbe, for free. So in other words, you play this down, and then you can play Boa, play Moria, play anything else here that is 4 costs or less, and you get it on board for free, which is nice. So there'll be scenarios where, in the early game, you'll trash a 2K counter, such as like Mihawk, Crocodile, or Law, right? If you have an opportunity to play down Jinbe, you can Jinbe into Moria. Moria will get you back that 2K counter if you need it from the trash for free. Considering what this ability allows you to do on play, you can add up to 1 7 Warlord card or Thriller Bark from the trash, 4 costs or lower, other than Gecko Moria. So you cannot grab this, and you cannot grab itself. But you can take it from trash and add it back to your hand. So these 2Ks are all recyclable. This is why I suggested that if you don't like some of these 2Ks, you can opt in to run Kaya. But she does lose some synergies with the deck due to the fact that you can just cycle through with Moria and get those cards back, which is really, really good. Now, when it comes to top in here in this deck, you have numerous different choices. Like, we know what goes on here. You can run either the Mihawk, the 9-drop here. You can run around with a 7-drop Dof if you choose to. You can make a deck that's all around those two with Sanji. Considering, you know, what this guy allows you to do, you can kick something off top of your life, or sorry, off top of your deck, put it on board. And it's very easy to set up with the Doflamingo, with the Perona. There's numerous different builds that you can do here with Doflamingo for OP07. Today we are going to be playing around with Kaido. I very much enjoy both, and I will be showcasing a Sanji variation here soon. But for right now, we're going to showcase the Kaido version and how that works out here in OP07. Now, with the Kaido, this is a very, very strong card going into the metagame, especially for green decks, because you guys will be running into a lot of green in OP07, such as Uta and Bonnie. And what do both of those decks love playing around with? Eustace Captain Kid. Yamato as well. So you're gonna have your worries. The Kaido allows you to deal with this on play, which is really, really strong. It allows you to bounce back the Kid to the hand, allows you to bounce back the Rosinante blocker if you need to, or the Uta or the Bluno back to your opponent's hand, which is solid. Therefore, they have to do this again next turn. And if you can chain both of these back to back, it's pretty much over for the green decks. Or just getting off one Kaido to be able to do that in the game can be pretty detrimental to most green decks. But I do think this guy is very, very strong into every matchup in the format, other than black decks. I hate to say it, it's just, you can bounce back to Moria. The downside to bouncing back to Moria, you know, Moria is one of the best cards in the game right now, period, for what it allows, decks to do, and how much value this card gets. And this is not a key target you want to bounce back to the opponent's hand, but you can. It's just, it doesn't get as much value. Any other deck in the format, it's great. You're bouncing back a lot of very, very high target cards to the opponent's hand. They lose a lot of tempo. And then, of course, the other Kaido. If you want to, you can do something like two of these, or not use this at all and just go full draw Kaido, if that's more of your playstyle. This just in general loves to get you more cards. So, and the deck itself already draws a lot with cards such as like Edward Weevil here. Kaido allows you just to draw 4 more. So, when it comes to removal, we're playing around with 2 Gravity Blades, 2 Red Rock. Normally I would just run the 3 Gravity Blade, but I feel like Red Rock is very, very important. Because again, you are in those matchups where you don't really want to kick back Moria. And in OP07, we're running around with the worst card in the format that everyone's going to have problems dealing with, and that's going to be Ace. So I feel like Red Rock is very, very valuable here. That way you can get rid of this. Because most of the time you're not swinging into a 10k body. Let's be honest, even though you have Kaido. I feel like having Red Rock sometimes in those scenarios is really, really strong. Especially when you have to bounce back like an Ace or a Yamato. Something of that nature. It's just really, really good. They come in handy sometimes. And then, of course, you're running the pudding. This is going to be detrimental to your mirror matches for Doflamingo, for Boa, and for yellow decks such as Katakuri and Enel. This in itself, going into Doflamingo, going into Boa, really hurts your opponent because it shuffles their hand back into their deck. So anything they decide to stack on top of their deck with their abilities, such from like Doflamingo or Perona, everything's all shuffled up. So it's just really, really strong in that scenario. The Boa is going to be your prime target in the late game. This is a very, very powerful card. It's very, very good. It's similar to the new Bonnie that we just got for green. On play, up to one of your opponent's rested characters, though, or Dawn, do not become active during your opponent's next refresh phase. This is very, very strong, right? Bonnie is. Boa is similar, except for she cannot target the Dawn. She can only target characters. And it could be a rested character, it could be a non-rested character, it does not matter. As long as she hits the board, she can choose anything she wants, and she can kick back a 1-cost to the owner's deck, which is really nice. So it helps you stop Boa from bouncing a smaller body back to her hand so she can draw a card. Therefore, you can remove like smaller bodies on board, such as like Perona or a Searcher, any of that nature, to slow down their drawing progress, which is really strong. Other than that, she's just slowing down your Katakuris, your Enels, whatever that's on board you don't want them to attack you with. Overall, we're going to dive into a bunch of games today, as we normally do here on the channel, and we'll come back to you at the end of the video for the deck list. Remember, boys and girls, Discord is up. Come hop in, come tell me I suck. It is what it is. I will catch you guys at the end of the video. Let's go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into a bunch of games today, coming at you guys with Doflamingo, playing into Vegapunk. And that is a 5-drop 6k on turn 1. This leader is very, very fun to play against, but I do think it has a lot of kinks it has to iron out before it can become quote-unquote competitive. It might be one of those scenarios where on the East Coast it takes a little bit of time for someone to crack a code and build something that's very, very strong in Vegapunk. So we'll see. At the moment, I don't see this deck being tier 1 or tier 2, but you know, what do I know? Overall, let's see what we can do here. I think we'll just go 5, and then we'll play down Weevil. I didn't have the opportunity of drawing into Perona and or Dofi here in the early game, so I don't want to blindly just use a leader ability and not get anything. If we go 5 and he takes this hit, then oh, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do the Weevil thing. That way we can draw into a card and get a body on board. We have quite a bit of counter in hand too. The downside, Atlas is hitting for 7k already on turn 3, so that does suck. And I don't want to give them too many cards here, so I'll take the first hit. And then he either develops a body or attacks me with Lilith. If he attacks me with Lilith, we will guard out. Alright, we'll give him a Boa, and the law is fine. 2 Dawn open. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. That's right. This card's pretty good. His leader ability allows him to play 5 drops, which is pretty solid. And if I get rid of that card when he dies, if he's at 2 life or less, which he is right now, he gets another body from trash that's 4 or less for free. Okay, so Edison. Let's go 5 again into this. We're going to play down Boa and make sure Atlas can't swing next turn. Now, we could have done the Perona thing and stacked the top 5 and then swung 7 into Lilith there. We could have done that. But I think I'd rather get down an 8k body and be able to push for a game next turn. Because I'm pretty sure we can guard out Weevil here entirely. Yeah, okay. We're cooking. We're good. We're good. Because that's 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 Dawn left. I think guarding this is the right thing to do. Hopefully. Nice. Okay. Potentially we could go for game here. But we can just play it safe. That's risky, man. So risky. We got it, though. Can we have this? Nice. I can't kill this, otherwise he's able to get back to Lilith from trash on board. So let's go 7 into lead. Nice. This should be a good game, unless he has 4K counter. Ooh, this should be a tough matchup here. I hate running into Bonnie as Doflamingo, man. This matchup in general is like, it feels like a drag overall, but it also is very, very irritating to deal with, especially if she gets the... I'm not familiar what his name is. I normally call him the Mad Monk. You guys know what I'm talking about. The big guy who has a very, like... He can pick up heavy things and he has the wings. You know what I mean. He's the blocker that Bonnie has that allows her to restand an extra Dawn at the end of her turn, which really hurts Doflamingo and a lot of other decks in the format. I'd rather draw into the Perona, kick the Weevil on board. The Weevil draws me the 2K Law. Or we can do it around with... No, this will work. It's fine. Anyway, just because we're able to push bodies on board, they come in rested, right? Playing this in green decks, they run like Ryoma or X-Drake. That allows them just to pop rested units. So we're kind of just giving them a body that they can just pop the following turn for free. And it's not that we can't play around it. It's they always have a way to pop something that's rested generally. So, and allowing them to do it for free is nothing much we can do about it other than hope they don't have anything to play down. And speaking of which, we're going to go 7. We're going to get Weevil on board. And hopefully she doesn't draw into X-Drake on curve, because that would suck. 2 Dawn open, which is really awkward, so we'll have to just go ahead and rotate these again. There's a Jinbe this time, though, which is nice. We can also do the Moria thing here as well, get back a 2K counter. If she doesn't have X-Drake and she attacks into the Weevil, we can get rid of the 2K with the Mihawk in hand and get it back with Gecko Moria. Because we draw into that, then we kick the Jinbe on board. The Jinbe can drop something like one of those two, which might work out. We'll see. This could be overall bad, but we'll find out. Oh, okay, cool. She had Bonnie down instead. So she freezes the Weevil. Alright, no Dawn left over to play around with. This swings at me for 7. I'm tempted just to take the hit here and hold my Dofi for later, which is probably the better idea. Because Bonnie's swinging in for 6. We have the counters for that, which we can get rid of any of them in hand to get it back with the Moria. We can save Dofi for later. We have the Moria here. So what I could do... He can get that down for free. Let's do this instead. I know we missed the opportunity there of getting 2 bodies on board, but this will remove some of the pressure that they have here. And we have an opportunity of doing Jinbe next turn. Just in that scenario, instead of playing the Gravity Blade, we could have potentially played down a Moria. We could have done the Moria thing, we could have got back a 2K counter, played the Jinbe down from the top of the deck, and then kicked down a Crocodile or Mihawk or Law. So we got quite a bit of bodies on board, but I think it might have been better just a Gravity Blade. Yep, sure. Pops that for free. But what's cool about the Bonnie, by the way, is it doesn't allow Weevil to stand up. Even though it was our turn, she keeps it frozen there. So he was frozen for 2 turns. He didn't get any value whatsoever other than drawing me a card. Let's give her a 2K here. 1 Dawn open. I don't know why. Okay, I guess that makes sense. She didn't put it on killer, that way she can rest something on board. So she'll probably just rest our blocker here. Regardless of how we do this, something's going to get rested. And she'll be able to attack into it with X-Drake. Let's just do this first. Let's get back a 2K counter. Or we can get back the Weevil here, though. Let's take the Weevil. We have a lot of 2Ks in hand right now. 7. If we go 6, we can play Weevil down and draw a free card. Regardless, she's going to rest something. I'd imagine it to be like the Jinbe, but alright, sure, that's fine. Because I don't mind taking 2 hits here. Especially when she only has 3 cards in hand. Well, 4, but you know what I mean. So we're getting on Dawn 10. So an opportunity to run into Doflamingo or Kid. Thankfully for us, we're ready for it. We have the Kaido in hand to deal with this. And if she does have like Rosinante or another killer to come down with Kid's ability here, we're chilling. If not, we're still bouncing back Kid and killer next turn with the Kaido. Come on, don't play anything. Just let it go. Nice. Okay, so 7k, and then 5 with lead. We've got 2, 4, 6, 7k counter, 8k counter now in hand. We can block out for the Bonnie here. Give him the Boa. I think the Moria actually might be better. Boa is just another blocker we can get down on board, which might be a little bit more valuable. Let's drop the Kaido here. Bounce, bounce. Yes, I'm aware we could have just bounced back the Perona to hand, but we'd have to discard something else on field in order to do that. If she takes this, that means she has no counter in hand. And it doesn't matter what she rests here, so, because I still have 3 extra attacks, and she has no Dawn up, so I think we're chilling. But this might be a Dofi play, which would be really, really bad for us. Because we don't have any removal for it. I can only stall it out from attacking me with a Boa. So hopefully she does not have Dofi. She did allow the X-Drake to go. So that means she didn't have counter for the X-Drake. She probably drew into the 2k counter off the previous hit. Yeah, boys, we're chilling. Okay, so we know that she has Kid and Killer in hand, at the very least. So there's 5 cards in hand we don't know about. X-Drake comes down, sure. Pops the Weevil, that's fine. 5 Dawn left to play with. Yep, there's a blocker. We have Dawn open for Bonnie's ability. Do you have another blocker here? Okay, 6. Okay, so for Jinbe, I kind of want this, to be fair. I think having him allows me to go for game next turn. But she's just going to rest A or B anyway, so we'll see though, we'll see. This should be a given that she should rest leader here. And in these scenarios, I don't know if I make the misplay by attacking with Kaido first versus leader. But again, I don't know what's my top 5 right now anyhow. Okay, she doesn't use the ability, so that means she has an event in hand that she's going to try to get off right now. So this might be okay to play down the Boa on the X-Drake here. Because we know she's got a Kid in hand at the very least. And then I could pass turn. But if you remember, she didn't play a whole lot of counter. And she let a lot of 5k attacks go through last time. So let's go for it. There's a pudding. Which, I don't know why I did that. It is what it is. What do you do here? Okay, she had Punk Gibson. That's fine. Totally okay. Go 6 here as well. This should be a damage. If my math is mathin'. It is mathin'. We got there, boys. Okay. So we're chilling now. Drake can't do anything. She's at 10 Dawn. If Dofi comes down, we still have 2 attacks with our Dofi and our Boa, if need be. Hody Jones. Interesting. I like the card. I think it's really good here in this scenario, but I don't know about during this moment in time to be able to play Hody down and try to go for game. I think this is a little risky. Because you can only do 2 damage here. Just with leader and with Hody. And the next turn you lose. I guess we'll have to see what's in hand here. Because we can take both these hits without having to worry about anything. And then we just go 12k with Kaido, and that should be game. That was a little weird. What do you got? It's not a bad hand, but I'd rather try to find a Dofi or a Perona here. Unfortunately, I feel like Perona has been eluding me the past couple games. I really don't open up with her all too much. I don't know if that's just sim shuffling or me having bad luck, but I feel like I rarely ever see Perona in my opening hand with my ratios currently, even though she is at 4. So I might have to look into that or adjust certain things. But we did get a Dofi, which isn't too bad. We can go 5 here to face, play Dofi down. And hopefully we can find a Jinbe, because our hand is pretty cracked right now. Nice, let's go, boys. Alright. There's a lot of ways we can play around this. If he decides to attack us, right, we can give him a 2k counter to get Mihawk in the trash. And we can do the Jinbe into a Gecko Moria to get back to 2k. Which wouldn't be too bad. Let's do it like this. That way we get Jinbe on board, Moria on board, we get the 2k back from the trash. We can do it that route. Or we can take the Jinbe, put a Weevil on board. Weevil will draw into the Boa. And then the following turn we draw into the 2k counter. Which might be a better play considering we get the no counter card out of hand. Let's give him the 2k first. He does have Karasu down, so that's something we're going to have to deal with at some point. Let's go 6 first. It'll depend on what he does here. If he lets this attack go through, then sure, I'll do the Jinbe to the Moria. But if he guards out, then we'll do the Weevil. Okay, cool. So we'll do the Weevil. Which is nice, right? Jinbe into Weevil, we draw a free card, which is the Boa. But now he has an opportunity of bouncing the Karasu back to top of life. With Sabo's leader ability here, which does kind of suck. But we got 2 cards out of hand in the early game, which I can't be too mad about. We can take this hit. Ooh. Let's use that. I'm sorry, Sabo. It happens to be like that. My bad. That's crazy. Yep. That's a problem. We get the Kaido, though. Shiraya is just really, really good, man. So there's that. I guess we can go 7 and kick something back on the field here with Dofi ability, which isn't too bad. Or we don't have to do it, actually. Yep. Sure. Okay, cool. Now we can attack into the Shiraya and hopefully get rid of it. 7k. We'd have to attach 1 with Weevil to attack into him at all. Are you willing to let it go? Let me get another card. Come on. That's my boy. Good job. Alright, we'll clear it. It's fine. Nice. We still have the blocker up here as well. Sabo's in a lot of trouble at this moment. He is yet to put a card on top of his life here, and he's at 3 cards in hand. Perhaps guarding out earlier was a bad thing for him to do when he gave me, what was it, the Nekomamushi and the Cracker earlier, but we'll see. I guess if he didn't decide to do that, I might have just saved the Gravity Blade to bottom deck both of them, so he might have made the right play. This is going 7 at this. We'll guard out. Like, that's a no-brainer. So he kicks that back on top, goes up to 4k. Hits me for 7. Smart. I think if he would attack the Jinbe there, we might have just given it to him instead. So it was good that he did that. Ooh. Alright, so we get the Weevil here, which is obvious. Gravity Blade, Boa, 2k. Let's do it like this. Actually, yeah, it's fine. Let me get it. Yep. It's gonna be a lot of damage right here, man. I don't care about that. Cool. Okay, so we know what he can do here with the Kidding Killer. He can play it down, swing 7, kick it back to life. Nekomamushi goes up to 7k as well. Or if he gets an attack off first, Kidding Killer will become a 9k when he hits the board, once he attaches Dawn to it. But regardless, it's not going to work out in his favor because we have quite a bit of counter in hand with 3k. Not that much, but we should be able to protect at least one of these hits, and we have a blocker on board. I think Nekomamushi is probably going to attack it to the Doflamingo. Yeah, I think this is a misplay. Unless he bounces that to life, then plays a Kid Killer next. But I'm still at 3, not at 2, so he doesn't gain the extra power with Kid Killer. Which is an interesting play that he's doing here. 7 non-active. Potentially has an ace in hand. Because that was swinging for 9k, so that'd be pretty good. Alright, Sabo, what goes on here? What are you doing? Okay. Yep. Sure. So you're a 7, no problem. But he does keep that for the following turn as well. If he goes lead, okay, that's smart. Either lead or Jinbe is what I would probably went for. Because I think I would have been able to guard out for the Weevil. Now he can kill a Weevil. Come on, do it right. You got this. Good job, buddy. Not bad, not bad. Dofi, we have Kaido here as well. Do I dare? I dare to do this. I don't care. Not sure, you got it. Take the Neko back. I don't care. Oh. Okay. How about now? Okay, we'll take those. Alright, so we know he's got a Garp, Kid Killer in hand, and that's about it. So 2 of those cards are pretty much dead. He's not going to toss the Garp away for a counter. I think next turn we can go for game. 100%. Maybe at least. It depends on what our life is going to be here. Because we need some counter. 6. I could guard out, but he's just going to kill it with Sabo. There's no point. Yep. He's got enough to play down a Garp here. He can swing in for 8k with Sabo. Or play an ace down. Love to see it. So now we know the rest of the hand outside of 1 card. If he attacks again with the ace, we kill the ace with the Kaido. Sure. Oh, that's nice. We get a Jinbe. That's actually really good. Because this will allow us to do 2 things. We can actually do a Jinbe into a Moria, or Jinbe into one of the blockers. Or we can Gravity Blade the ace. Ooh. There's so many things here now. Oh, this is why I love this deck. There's so many options. Let's go ahead and lock this up. Then we can do a Jinbe into a blocker on board. One way or the other, we're going to give him an Nekomamushi, which does suck, but it gets a damage off. But this does give him the Kid Killer in hand with the Garp. 1 card open that we don't know. We do need a blocker on board. English was hard there, I don't know why. We draw into a 2k. The following turn we can kick a Weevil up, draw into another 2k. I think we're chilling here. Ace can't do anything relevant. So he'll probably have to kick that back to life first to boost something else on board. Nice. 2nd time he's whiffed with Garp today. That I remember. You still have to attach 2 Dons to Neko to be able to attack anything that's standing. Kid Killer, pretty strong here. I'd imagine he'd want to clear the Dofi blocker, but I could be wrong. Right? Surely he goes blocker. If not, we're going to block anyway, but I assume he would go blocker. You attack that first. Huh. Sure. Oh, he goes into Jinbe. Crazy. I think we can take this without the problems, but just to be safe, because I don't know what the last trigger is going to be there. It could be a zero-cost event for all we know. Alright, so we've got 12 8s. I think we can go for game here. But it might be risky. Playing this a little bit slow might be the better play. 9k guarantees the attack. We get a body on board with the Weevil, draw into the 2k counter. Guaranteed ace, yep. We can go 9 here again. No zero cost event, please. Are we chilling? And right, good game, buddy. Overall, not too bad, boys. Not too bad. Good try. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into our last game of the day, coming at you guys with Doflamingo, playing into another Bonnie here. I think this might have been our 4th Bonnie today, maybe, give or take. We played quite a bit of very, very long games, so we're going to try our best, man, and see what we can do. Hopefully this one isn't going to be like another 25-minute, 30-minute game. If it is, I'm sorry. These green matches tend to go for a very long time. But Bonnie is going to be one of those decks that we're going to see quite a bit in OP07. Double Searchers. Okay. You hate to see it. So this means they run 8-cost Kid. This means they run 10-cost Doflamingo. So that is going to be a problem. Moria might not be safe here if they have Ryuma as well, but I hope not. If they don't, they might just do the double searchers and we can get off the attacks here and clear both of them. We have pretty much negligible counter in hand. We did get the Pudding, which is really nice in this matchup. We need to keep the Moria alive on board, somehow, shape, or form here. So I need to remove both of these bodies as quickly as I can. You never want the green decks here to keep searching for cards, because they are just getting counter for Kid. There's an X-Drake already off the Supernova, or off the Bonnie Search. Which does suck, so Moria will be killed next turn regardless of how I look at this with the X-Drake. If they decide to play it down. Is that an 8 cost? Okay. Interesting. She can go 7 into Moria here. Which we'd have to give a lot out of hand. What? Okay, sure. I mean, I guess that's one way to do it. Yeah, that's one way to do it. It's pretty good overall. Because now I can't clear both searchers on board. But we can put in this. Now what do you do? It feels good though when they get off a double search and you hit that Pudding. It's just like, okay, cool. You had cards in hand. She's going to rest Leader here, or she's going to rest Moria. Regardless of how I look at this, we have to try to clear these anyway. I'd rather get rid of the Bonnie because Bonnie searches the Kid. Let's pass it up. He's still at 6k, so she will have to, you know, commit Dawn to Bonnie if she wants to clear it. And we do have the 2k counter in hand, so we might be able to protect Moria unless she drew into an X-Drake off the Pudding here. So we get another 2k counter with the Baby 5 search. Cavendish hits the board, which is kind of irrelevant unless she's attacking with the Cavendish, but he still is a card I have to remove because it allows her to get 2 extra Dawn. That way Bonnie can keep doing her thing. 5 into lead. I don't mind taking the first hit here. Even if I had the counter, I probably would have taken the smack anyway. Which isn't too bad. But giving away a 2k counter here without Moria is pretty bad. Another Baby 5 on board. So she leaves up 1 Dawn for the leader ability. We're at 7. We can Jinbe into the Weevil, or I could Red Rock the Cavendish. I think we should save the Red Rock for later. I don't remember what our top 5 is, actually, to be honest. I already forgot. I feel like sometimes when your opponent takes a long time to do their moves, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's hit or miss with me. But that's just a me problem, I guess, overall. We can lock that down, so she cannot get the 2 Dawn from Cavendish. We can go clear this. She'll rest A or B. It doesn't really matter because we're going to clear baby 5 anyway. So we're at 8 Don here, which is the potential to play Kid, but she can't attach the Don to the Kid because Cavendish can't attack, so what are you going to do? Ooh, that's really good now that I think about it. Because that gives you an opportunity of playing Kid down on curve, right? If you have Cavendish on board, if Cavendish swings, you can restand 2 Dawn if your leader's Supernova, which Bonnie is. Oh man, that's pretty dirty. Wow. Alright. Something to consider. You're welcome. 7k and some Moria. This we cannot let happen. That's 6 Dawn left to play with. It's probably going to be an extra, to be honest. But let's force it if it is. Oh, Bonnie, okay. Another problem we have to deal with. That'd been so cool to just draw for like a Gravity Blade there. That'd been awesome. I think this would be a bad play if we do this. Let's not do that. 9 Dawn here. Let's get the Dofi down. No. No. Let's go and get the Dofi down. We have another Red Rock here. We can get the Weevil into the Mihawk as well, or the Weevil into the Moria, which is not too bad. If we do it that way, we can play it down with Jinbe. And in the following turn, we can draw off another Red Rock, just in case she has like back-to-back Kid or back-to-back Dofi. Regardless of how we do this, she's going to rest either the Boa or the Dofi leader. There's just no way around it here. Right? There's no way you don't rest the Bonnie, or sorry, the Boa. I guess I could be wrong. If they do rest the Boa, they have a Dofi, they can just lock down those targets there for the next turn. The hesitation. There you go. Alright. So now what do? You take this hit. Zero cost event. Cool. Love to see it. Let's go 7k with Bonnie as well. Pudding. Sorry. Alright, we'll pass it up here. Wow, you're cool. Alright, everything's rested. Love to see it. Go ahead, drop the Dofi. Prime time right here. That's crazy, man. That really does suck, not gonna lie. This means we're just gonna be chilling here for a long time. I just hope she doesn't have multiple leads to chain them back to back, because then we just lose the game at that point. There's one Doflamingo. I don't know why you don't rest leader here, to be fair. Because she knows that I stacked the top 5. I don't know why you wouldn't rest Dofi. But I guess resting at 6k is okay. 6 and 4, sure. Yep. Yeah, just being able to play Kid down on curve right there, by the way, for 8 Dawn, and do that, what she just did with Cavendish, restands the 2 Dawn, and then allows her to play that on Kid to make him active, which is crazy, man. It's something you guys are going to have to consider when you run into Bonnie. Just because she's at 8 Dawn, don't forget about Cavendish on board. Should we guard this? Should we just kill it with Bonnie, though, right? It might be better just to do this. That way she runs into it with Bonnie, and I don't take a damage here. Cool. Yep. Unfortunately, everything is locked down here. But we still have an opportunity of removing the Doflamingo with Red Rock, playing down the Jinbe, and then getting a Weevil or a Moria on board. And if I remember, the next card we're supposed to draw is going to be the 2k Mihawk. So I think we're chilling. I think we just go 5 or we clear one of these here. Can we clear the Cavendish? That was supposed to be the Cavendish. That's what I clicked on. See, in a perfect world, I know I clicked on that. And obviously, on like, was it table play? You know, like going to locals or whatever, I would set Cavendish here, so. Thanks, Sim. Appreciate you. Regardless, I hope I'm able to get this body on board. I don't really care, realistically. Because I can just deal with whatever 10-drop or 8-cost kid or Dofi she plays down next turn anyway with Red Rock. It's not too much of a big deal. It's just, if we do get the bonding, great. If not, it sucks, man. I was about to say, because then we would have missed on the opportunity of playing down Jinbe into like one of the other two. But we're still at 4 life. We're sitting comfortably here. And we've gotten rid of a lot of her resources, and we still have 3 bodies on board. Now, I'm not going to be able to protect any of these bodies if she decides to don up with Cavendish and Leader and goes for them. But, we have 3 bodies on board, so that's good. There he is. There's the Mad Monk. I'm glad we didn't see this card earlier. This could be a very, very different game if she actually saw these blockers in the early game. And it's not just because he's a blocker, it's the fact that he allows her to restand 1 Dawn, you know? So thankfully for me, she didn't get him. Because we saw, I think it was no Gravity Blades this game, if I remember. So that does suck, but yeah. He's a very, very strong card in this deck. You have to remove him immediately if you're able to. The same thing with Cavendish. This is why I was kind of like a little ticked off, because I swear we clicked him last turn, but it is what it is. These 2 cards allow this deck just to keep doing its engine, and they're very, very prime targets you have to remove if you're able to. Yep, you got it. We have an option to go Kaido next turn, which is very, very good. I feel like if we attack here with 5, she just rests the Boa. But we could Red Rock the blocker, do the thing. We could play down the Jinbe, but I'd rather get rid of the Cavendish here instead. This is just the safe route. I don't want her to set up for any plays for later on. Cool. Because now we're safe. We're at 4 life still. We got rid of 2 prime targets. Kaido can hit the board next turn if we needed to. Another Cavendish, okay. Maybe we won't do that. I really do like Rosinante here in this deck, though. Might be a really, really good Rosinante deck. It would explain why, you know, his prices kind of went up a little bit. 8K, leaves 1 open. Sure. Nice. Hey, a Perona. Love to see it. Could I potentially just get Kaido here and be safe? 2 cards in hand. It might be okay, because that means she doesn't have an event here. If I do the Jinbe into the Mord, get back to 2K counter. Or we can get back to Dofi blocker, actually. So go ahead and set up the plays here. We have enough Dawn to do Dofi leader ability. Although these kind of suck. Not gonna lie, these aren't the greatest. We'll have to do it like this. This is the only thing we can kick back on board. We can kick back the Mihawk, but logically, we can draw into that the following turn. This isn't so bad. It's just, I wish it could have been something different, right? If we go 8K, she just rests Dofi. So we can just go 12 here again into the Rosinante. 11, Matt Sard. Does she have it? Oh wow, she actually had 4K counter. Whatever, man. We'll go 5. As much as I don't want to give her an extra card, it is what it is. She chose to rest the blocker here, which is interesting. 6K in the Dofi. That is totally okay with me. 9 cards left. Potentially to have Kid on board. Dofi's not doing anything for me here. She's going into Boa, isn't she? That's 12K. 5 Dawn active. So it's either she's gonna run both these units into Boa. That's my guess. You might as well stack more Dawn. Okay, alright. That seems silly. We can give her the Perona here, which wouldn't be too bad because we already know what cards we're getting next anyway. Because we're drawing into another Boa. And then the following turn we get a 2k counter, which is the Mihawk. You got it, buddy. Will she let me do this? Yep, I don't care which one you rest, it doesn't matter. Sure. Can we have another? And then we could potentially finally put down the Kaido here. We'll take him, boys. Now this should be, we should be able to push game here. Regardless if she decides to put down another kid here or not, it doesn't really matter. She doesn't have any counter in hand to protect the kid and keep it alive. And as long as we have bodies on board, we need at least one more body on board to be able to win the game, I think. She can only rest one of them. We have quite a bit of counter in hand as well. We have 9k that we can work around to protect the Jinbe in the Moria here. Hody Jones. It's another Hody, man. This is like the third Bonnie today, I believe, that's run Hody. Which is cool and all, but it's just, you do it on turns where I feel like you're not getting a lot of value, you know? I do get the Rip to Life, which is irrelevant to me right now, so next turn we definitely just win unless they have a blocker here. I'm guessing this is their best play they have right now. On open. They still have enough to play a blocker on board. How about no? Because we can guard all of these. Well, I guess we can't guard the Rosinante, right? So surely Rosinante clears something. He can even clear... No, he can't even clear Kaido here, which is great. He only can clear one of the smaller bodies. But if that's the case, if she decides to attach Dawn to him, she doesn't have Dawn up for a blocker. And the only thing that might save her is having 4 Dawn for the Monk blocker. That way she restands an extra Dawn and she has enough to rest something on my field. And block the other thing. But she doesn't have enough cards in hand to counter out with that swing either. I think this game is pretty much, it's a wraps. You got it. Alright, so there's the Monk. She gets the blocker up. I think we're chilling, boys. Nice. Let's go.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the end of the video where we talk about the deck list and all that sort of thing here. I do hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun for me to put together. This is a leader in which I'm very much looking forward to be playing, OP07. You know, who would have thought? But overall, I do think Doflamingo has a very, very good chance in the metagame for OP07 with all the new cards that we've finally been given access to with all the new Warlord stuff. But there are some other cards in this deck that can make this a little bit more consistent or a little bit stronger or a little bit spicy, I guess you would say. Now, we are going to be playing into a lot of RP laws out there. I don't know if your locals are full of them, but for example, if you're going out to regionals, you're going out to playing locals and stuff, there are other cards in this deck that you can consider running. Just do be a little bit mindful. Some of them don't have any counter on them, such as the other Gecko Moria that comes out in OP07. This is a very good card into Law. This allows you to, once per turn, whether it's your turn or your opponent's turn, it doesn't matter. If you're Dofi, you're 7 Warlords to see what you are, obviously. If this character were to leave play, instead you may place one of your characters other than Gecko Moria to the bottom of the deck. So he cannot Gordon this and then remove it with Law. He'd have to do it twice in a turn, and that's impossible for Law to be able to do that. So you can get rid of something else instead of getting rid of this card if he decides to target it, which is nice, right? So you always have a body on board as long as you have another body on board to take the place of this guy, which isn't always too difficult to do with your Dofi leader ability, being able to kick something like Jinbe and then put something else on board. That way this card is always sticky. But that's a spicy tech you guys can play around if something you want to, you're interested in, all that sort of thing. Overall, though, I think the deck is really, really strong, just the way it is and all that. I may try playing around with the Kuma. I'm not too sure yet. This is a card back from OP01. If you guys are OGs, you remember what this card does. As soon as this card's killed on KO, you can search your deck for a Pacifista, which is really, really strong. You know, you get a blocker or you get the attacker here. These aren't Warlord cards, so they can't be kicked off with your leader ability. But they're able to essentially replace the body of Kuma. which is really, really good. The only downside to this is it's only if this card is KO'd. So playing this into RP Law might not be as beneficial because they can just bottom deck it and not have to worry about it. But any other deck, this gives you a body for a body once this gets KO'd, if you have a Pacifista in hand. The downside to it is, if you're playing with something like Sentomaru, for example, which I think that's more of a Crocodile thing, she allows you to search out for Pacifistas and all that stuff to make sure you guys have an engine going. I think this is more of a Crocodile thing if you guys are interested in playing Sentomaru. But the Pacifistas, I may look into some sort of build with Doflamingo. I don't know how it's going to go if that's going to be the case, but overall, I do think this list here is doing really, really well for me. If I did decide to include these into the build, I'd probably drop the Gecko Morias here for Kuma and drop the Boas. I'd work around it. It's just something to consider. But overall, this has been Pawseplays. Remember to smash the like button for future content when it comes to all things One Piece on the channel. Remember, the Discord is finally live, so hop in there. Come tell me I suck. It is what it is. I will catch you guys in the very next video. Stay safe out there. I'll see y'all at locals, and good luck at your pre-releases. It's going to be a fun night.